Hey, everybody, and welcome. Welcome, welcome. What is abundance mentality? What is an abundance mindset? What is abundance? We're going to talk about the concept of what it is and give some examples here in this video. Welcome. I'm Chris Schweigel of Chris Connects, a syndication company that connects you with passive investing opportunities. And nowadays you hear a lot about abundance mindset in business, and it's great. I love it. I'm all on board with abundance mindset. But a lot of people talk about it, and what exactly does it mean? It's like a nebulous type of concept, and there's a bunch of them out there. I mean, like what is the concept of existentialism? What the heck does that mean? What is postmodernism? What does that mean? What does that mean to, an eye for an eye? What does that mean? What is a catch in football? No one knows. So we're going to talk a little bit about abundance mindset today, what the heck that means, and I'll give you 10 examples from my life in the past week. So, first and foremost, let's take a look of what abundant means. Abundant just means that you have a lot. You have more than what you need. And abundance means I have more than what I need. And it's in a way, it's in a tone of I'm willing to share and give. So where the mindset comes in, abundance mindset, it doesn't mean that I'm always thinking about having more. I'm always thinking about getting more stuff. My mind isn't on my money isn't on my mind. We're not talking about that album. What we're talking about is the concept of I have more than I need, therefore I'm willing to share and give. So it comes from a place of giving. An abundance mindset means I have more to give away. I am only trying to create more so that I have more to give away to the world. The world is a better place when we all have more. That's what abundance mindset means. So I've got 10 examples here of having an abundance mindset from my past week. The first one is at my day job, I'm a social worker. An old client called me. An old client I hadn't talked to in 3 years called me. I answered the phone. Not only did we talk and have a helpful conversation, at least I hope I was helpful, pointed this person to some resources in the community, and I even set a reminder and got a hold of this person afterwards. So a few days later, called and follow up. Hey, is everything going okay? Was this helpful? Great. So having an abundance mindset means, just because we're not working together doesn't mean that we're not humans. I'm here to help. I'm here to help whoever. I'm here to help in whatever way I can. That's part of an abundance mindset. The second one, made homemade bread and gave it to some of my neighbors. I live in Minnesota, so it gets dark this time of year. People need some cheer, especially after the holiday season. So, made some homemade bread and distributed it to some neighbors cuz, just because it's nice to have. Part of an abundant mindset is I'm going to give not only when I'm asked, but I'm going to give just to give. Just for the sake of giving, something good can be created from that. And the third part here, this is kind of a 2A, but I'm counting it as number 3 is I let my daughter take the lead when we made the homemade bread. So we made 4 loaves of bread and distributed it to neighbors, and it was her idea. And she wanted to take the lead, and I let her. Even though I'm the grown up, I let her do that. She and I have been making bread since she was 2 years old. We make it by hand. She loves kneading it. I think that's awesome. Everyone should experience that. If you haven't made bread, I recommend you do it. It's easier than you think. But kneading it is really cool. You get dirty. There's flour everywhere. It's sticky. It's kind of like grown up Play-Doh that you can later eat. It's awesome. It smells really nice. It's kind of got that smell of like liveliness, with the yeast growing the dough and all that kind of stuff. And so I let her take the charge. In fact, I didn't want to, but she asked if she could uh, put the loaves in the oven and then take them out using oven mitts. And I was hesitant about that because she's 7 years old, but She wanted to, so I let her. So I think part of having an abundant mindset is just allowing people to grow in areas that they want to grow. They dictate how they want to grow, and I try to keep myself out of it. The fourth one I thought of is, well, telling people the markets that I'm investing in. This was something I've gotten a bunch of comments about on LinkedIn. So I try to stay relatively active on LinkedIn, helping in any way that I can. And there was a question posted about what markets are you looking at in 2023? And I noticed that there wasn't any comments, and this post had been up for about 18 hours. So it's kind of past due for the LinkedIn algorithm. This person was someone who I was, admired and wanted to help boost their exposure on the platform. So I commented with the three markets that I'm currently invested in, a little reason why, and then I said, "Hey, here's five other markets that I'm keeping an eye on." And I'm looking for, build to rent. I like short term rentals. We like residential assisted living. We like self storage and all these different asset classes that we're interested in. And after that happened, there was a flood of engagement. And I'm not trying to take credit for this at all. I mean, the other person posted it and initiated the conversation. I was just being a part of it. The point I'm trying to make is I think a lot of people hold, what market they're in and what asset class they're in kind of close to the vest. And I really don't. I'm happy to share any sort of asset classes I'm interested in, any sort of markets I'm interested in, markets I'm not interested in. Now, why the heck would I do that? Wouldn't someone else steal my business plan and stuff? Well, yes, I suppose they could, but I'm a real estate investor. So there's millions and trillions of people out there who already do use my exact business plan and models. I mean, not exactly the way that I do, but I am happy to share everything that I know, anything that I know about real estate investing, because that means more people are housed. That means there's more affordable housing out there. That means there's more wealth in the world. It would be incredibly selfish of me to think that my business plan is so great that it needs to be kept locked in a box. No, that's not the way to do it. If something is so great, share it, spread it, let it out there. If someone else steals my business plan and runs with it in a way that allows more people to be housed than me, then great. Hats off to you. That's awesome. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. Sharing is caring with the abundance mindset. The fifth one is, hey, I was on a plane this weekend. My bride and I went to a goals retreat in Lake Las Vegas that was done by the real estate guys. Fantastic stuff. One thing I love about the real estate guys is they have an abundance mindset. They are happy to share. They want people to learn. They want people to grow. They want people to take action. But anyway, on the way back from the goals retreat, Kelly and I are very tired because it was 3 days. I mean, really a lot of classroom time, a lot of sitting, like a lot of physically demanding in a way where that was different because my body couldn't move. So physically demanding in a way where I had to make sure that my body didn't like seize in one position. I had to get up and stretch and move around a bit. So, anyways, we're getting on the plane, and the person next to me is looking around quite a lot. And so I said, "Hey, man, you feeling okay?" And he said, "Well, I'm on my way back home. I wanted to get away to Las Vegas for a few days and take a load off. I have PTSD, so I get nervous when I'm in small spaces." And I said, "Hey, what can I do to help you out?" He said, "Hey, if you don't mind here, just give me a little space in the aisle. I usually am at my best when I go back and sit in one of the jump seats with the flight attendants. But it really helps me out if I can have access to the aisle. So if you don't mind, that would be great." I didn't mind at all. I mean, he wasn't like asking me to sit in my lap or anything like that. He just wanted to walk by on the aisle, and I was in the aisle seat, so I didn't mind at all. In fact, I thanked him for letting me know because I want him to be as comfortable as possible. A lot of people who suffer trauma in their lives have reactions of, being hyperactive, hyper reactive, hyper vigilant, meaning they're always on the lookout for danger. I was happy to help this guy out. So I thanked him for letting me know. And I said, "Hey, what else can I do?" He said, "Just give me access to that aisle." Sounds good. So I think a part of mindset here is allowing other people to be themselves, like a live and let live type of relationship with the world. I don't need to get cranky. I don't need to feel off or judge this guy because he's acting in a way that's not how most people act on a plane. But we are not most people. We are ourselves. And so I was happy to help this guy out. The sixth one here, number 6, listening with an open heart and closed mouth. Like I said, I was at a retreat, and I tend to be someone. I'm an extrovert, so I could talk to people nonstop all day long, every day. I love chit chatting with people. But here's the thing: I don't learn about people, and I don't learn about their struggles, their journey, what's good, what their new business plan is, what's going on with them and their kids and school and Christmas and all this kind of stuff if I don't close my mouth and open my heart and my ears a bit. And so being abundant sometimes means just shutting up and letting other people tell their story, because if other people can tell their story, they feel good about themselves. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what abundance mindset is spreading joy, spreading goodness, spreading wealth in whatever way that means to whoever that means it to. The next one. Oh, this is a fun one. Number 7, at this goals retreat was none other than one of my personal heroes, Ken McElroy. And so there he was with his 2 boys standing in the hallway, talking to no one else, and I had some free time to talk to him. Like at most of these conferences, I think there was 300 people there. You get in a conversation with someone, another person comes in and talks, people come and go. So I knew I only had a minute or two to talk to Ken McElroy, right? And this is someone who's been an idol of mine forever. He owns a bunch of apartment buildings along with his business partner. He does fantastic stuff, has an excellent platform, humble guy. I could have asked him any number of things about business, about, hey, what do you think about this business plan? What do you think about this asset class? All that kind of stuff. But that wouldn't have served him any well, at all. And I wanted to give to him because I felt like he's given a lot to me. So I said, hey, Ken, my name's Chris. I just want to say thanks, man. I want to say thank you for writing your book, ABCs of Real Estate Investing. I told him that, I was in Costa Rica with some friends complaining about not having any money because social workers don't get paid. And someone said, hey, why don't you do something about it? And because of that book, which was the second book I read after Rich Dad Poor Dad, I bought those 2 books, and within a month, I bought a duplex. And I told him, "Hey, I wouldn't have known anything about that stuff if it wouldn't have been for your book, and thank you." He said, "Oh, man, I appreciate that. I'm glad I was able to catapult you forward." Then I said, and recently I brought the book out again. 7 years after I initially read that book, I dusted it off the bookshelf, and I went back because I was doing a 1031 exchange out of markets here locally into other markets, and what could it be? And what book would help me more than ABCs of, real estate investing? So I told him I went through the level 1, level 2, level 3 market research and landed on, Southwest Florida. And I just told him, hey, thanks for doing that. I really appreciate that. It's, it works even years after you've read the book. And he said, no way, man. Hey, thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. I really appreciate you saying that. And is it okay if someone reaches out to you for testimony? I was like, wow, blown away. It's like, yeah, absolutely. And then, was talking to his kids about advice that they have for me as a dad. How do I reach and be a better dad to my daughter? Because they're kids themselves, and I think a lot of times if you hang around 40 somethings like myself, you get a lot of the same old tried and true answer. So I wanted to ask his kids that too. And so buried in there is a lesson on abundance, which is, hey, you don't need to be taking all the time. It's great to be able to get around people who you admire and ask them really important questions. But if it all comes down to it, if you just have a minute, I'll tell you what, my natural inclination was to give a thank you and a reason why, to point to some directions about why, because I hope that made him feel better about himself and the work he's doing. So part of abundance mentality is helping others feel good and saying thank you, showing gratitude, which leads to number 8, having a gratitude journal. I've kept a gratitude journal for the past 6 years. I keep it on Google Drive. I'm now in the like page number 500s or whatever that is. I just jot 3 things down every day that I'm grateful for, and they range from anything big like getting married, having a kid, whatever, all that kind of stuff, to little things like feeling breeze that doesn't hurt my face. Like the smell of fresh lemon, something like that, any sort of the cozy feeling of the smell of a new book, something like that. Those little things that make you feel grateful for the world. And how do little things make you feel grateful for the very big things? Well, because in those little things you realize that your world is big. The world is expansive. You're not the only person here. I notice when I get away from my gratitude journal, because I look inward more, because I look at myself. I tend to focus on problems or things that I'm working on more. When I experiencing gratitude and writing it down in my journal, I notice that I'm thinking about a much bigger, broader landscape of the world, which is at the core of abundance, is thinking outside of yourself. So keeping a gratitude journal is one way that you could practice abundance. What's number 9 here? Creating a business plan that involves others. This is something that's really helped my evolution as a business person, but also thinking about how I can help people in general. I'm building a couple of property, or a couple of larger homes down in Cape Coral, Florida. And the homes are going to be built just as homes. I think they're like 4-bed, 3-bath houses, 2,500 square feet. So these will be nice places and they'll be brand new, but they won't have a lanai. They won't have, the cage that protects you from all the like Floridian bugs and crocodiles, hippopotamuses, whatever they have down there. And, has the hot tub and the pool and all the stuff that makes it really fun and an attractive rental for someone. It won't have that. So, there's ways that we can move around stuff here in the personal portfolio to free up some space there. But abundance mindset, it says, no, man, it's not all about you. Allow other people to get involved. So it's having a business plan that allows others to get involved. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to open that up for, outside investment and whoever wants to get involved with all that kind of stuff. But I'm not here to talk about that or to pitch. What I'm here to say is I had to change how I look at business and how I look at my own personal portfolio to allow others growth and allow others to get in and learn and grow along the way. So a lot of abundance is helping others, allowing others to grow, allowing others to experience what your story is, and allow others to feel like a part of the journey. And brings us to the last one, number 10, rooting for other people. I mentioned before that Kelly and I went to a goals retreat, and we went through a really cool exercise where he talked about, hey, what do you want out of life? And then what are some other questions, like if you had 6 months to live, if you had 3 months to live, a month, one day to live, what would you do? If you had $1 million trillion, how would you spend it? And now what do you want in life? And then it was down to, let's say you only could talk to one person or whatever. You could only do one thing. You couldn't do business. What would you do? Getting down to the core of, if there's just one sentence, if there's one phrase, one concept that describes you as a person, what is that? And for me, when all else is removed, I'm someone who really, really enjoys seeing other people succeed. I really, really enjoy rooting for other people. I really, absolutely, at the core of my being, don't really feel jealous anymore. I haven't had that feeling in, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 years. I just don't, because I know that I'm in charge of me, and I'm in charge of what I do. I'm in charge of what I have, who I talk to, how I talk to those people, how I show up into the world. I'm in charge of that. So there's no reason for me to be jealous of somebody else because they're making choices for them. And I've made my own choices. And so when it comes down to my core, I think at the very root of Christopher Lee Schwagel, I enjoy rooting for people. And I think for me, when I look on my lens of who I am with abundance mindset, it's rooting for other people. And so there it is. Abundance is having more than you need. And abundance mindset is how can I give way more than I receive? How can I give in a way that serves you? How can I give in a way that helps the world or my community? How can I give? And that's my last question to you. How can I give? Reach out. Let me know. I'm at Chris at chrisconnects.co. That's Chris at chrisconnects.co. How can I help? I'd love to do so. Until next time, until next week, be abundant, be excellent to each other. Take care.